Hello everybody. Another warm and hot day. Beautiful here in Colorado. This short season of nice weather. Taking advantage of it. So I've been working on my truck. As you can see, the blue one is gone. Over here we've got the engine chilling on the engine stand, and it could just be dropped in the way that it is, but given that it's got 186,000 miles on it, I'm going to go ahead and change all the gaskets that make sense to change anyway. The intake gasket, valve cover gaskets, probably the oil pan gasket, definitely the rear main seal, and probably the timing cover gasket with a new timing chain. That's just, none of that stuff really needs to happen, but if I want this engine to last for a decent while, I should probably go ahead and do it. And it makes sense to do it since the engine's out. So that's kind of where I'm at. I've got the old transmission sitting over there. Let me tell you, it was a whole lot of fun pulling all that stuff out. Pretty much did it by myself though. The only thing I had help with was dragging the blue truck out of here once it didn't have a drivetrain in it. But I got it down at the bottom of the hill. It's for sale. Nobody wants it. It'll probably go to the junkyard. But anyway, I don't know why I didn't think about that. Maybe the junkyard will just buy it from me the way that it is. I'll have to call them up. Maybe they'll trade me for some parts or something. I can trade it for something. I don't know. The van could use another engine, and transmission. I wish I had both, but it doesn't matter. So anyway, just go over this one a little bit. I did break a spark plug. I'll have to get one of those. I think that happened when I was hoisting it, just caught on the chain or something, and that was it. No big deal. But you can see here that the rear main is leaking even just now. So I'll go ahead and change that out, as well as the oil pan. That should stop all of those leaks. This doesn't look too bad. It has been leaking a little bit, but at least it was done decently. So I'm going to replace the distributor with the old one from the other truck because it's in better condition. This thing is all corroded and everything, so I think I'm just going to take it out. And also the intake, I'm going to get rid of the intake. I'm not getting rid of it, I'm just going to be using the other one, which I've already got kind of cleaned up. This one I've already done a gasket on it once, so it's already been cleaned once. It wasn't that hard. However, the EGR ports here were totally caked with carbon. I didn't even realize that there was like ports there until I started picking at them, and I'm like, oh crap. I dug a hole all the way through to the other side there where the EGR valve goes. So that wasn't working before, but at least it wasn't causing vacuum leaks because it was clogged shut. So even though the thing was working, it never set an engine light or anything like that, which kind of surprised me, but I guess that tells me that the valve itself was working, the solenoid, etc. So we'll be changing that out, and also the throttle body. That one will stay with the intake. I'm going to take the throttle body from the other one because it's, again, it's been rebuilt already by me, and it's got a spacer on it, and I don't know, it's just cleaner than the other one. The other one hasn't been rebuilt, and they both look kind of dirty, but it'll be a lot simpler to clean mine up with just spraying it with some carb cleaner. So, other than that, I've got a few other parts over here that I robbed from that truck. The spark plugs look better than the ones that I had, and an extra power steering pump pulley in case he'd break the son of a bitch putting it back on, and Optima battery. So I'm really hoping that I can have all of these parts back. Well, the ones that I'm putting back, obviously the engine parts aren't going back in yet, but everything that goes into that truck shall be soon, because I'm running out of time. I won't have a truck at all at the end of the month if I don't fix this, because my Dodge has expired tags, needs tires, needs suspension, needs steering components, and all of that adds up to about $1,500 to $2,000 in parts. So I'm really not down to spend all that money right now. I just don't have it. A couple $100 and I'll have the brown truck running and registered. I figure about $400 to get all the parts I need to finish it up, button it up, and then it's going to be about $180 to register it, because it's a year late almost. So yeah, and I think they like ding you. We'll see. It's going to be more than what it should have been if I had registered it on time, but it's just been sitting here, so hopefully they'll give me a break. But thought I'd just come out here and let you guys see what was up. So I'll take another video when I'm a little bit further along here. This isn't really a how-to video where I'd be showing you how to do this, but there's plenty of 350 videos and Chevy videos on how to do this and how to do that, so I didn't really feel that it was necessary. But if you guys want me to make another fix-it video, you just let me know. Just let me know in the comments, and I'll arrange that and get those fix-it videos made if you want to see them. But more or less, I just thought you'd be interested in this old swap here and kind of following the progress to see how it goes. And I got the intake off the old engine, or donor engine I should say, and there it is. Let's take a look. Not too bad. Those heads look alright. The coolant jackets aren't terrible. The oil valley looks really clean. I like to keep it that way, so I will be stuffing a towel in there shortly to keep anything out of the valley there, as I'm cleaning up all the dirt and gunk off the heads and the block. I'm going to take the valve covers off too, and we're going to take a look at those and put some new valve cover gaskets on. I've got some Felpros over there. They're not brand new, but they're definitely still good. And yeah, look at that. It's leaking oil right there. Look at that. That's shitty work right there. They fucked their bead up. Look. You can see where that ended, where they went here and they come from here. You're supposed to have one solid fucking bead across, and I could see they didn't put anything in the corners either. So whoever the last person was to do this intake gasket didn't know what the fuck they were doing. That's okay. I'm not too worried about it. Alright, cool. So that's kind of where we're at. It's just a big cleaning job now. And luckily our old intake gasket is already clean. I just went and power washed it and air dried it, so it's looking good. It's all ready to go back in. Got the valve covers off. They look pretty good. No major issues, just a standard layer of carbon buildup. But actually pretty good. My Dodge engine looks way worse than that. Both of them. So I'm going to send it. I'm going to go ahead and just clean these up with some brake fluid. I've scraped off most of the stuff with a razor. There's still a few spots I probably should hit with a wire brush, and then wipe it all down with brake cleaner and get the new gasket on there. And that's kind of where we're at. So I'm going to get this done today. That's the goal. And then once the upper end is done, we got the intake on, we'll flip the engine over and start working on the bottom end. Take the oil pan off and change out the rear main seal, timing gasket, and all that stuff. I have to look through my gaskets because I might already have a timing gasket and water pump gaskets. If I'm not mistaken, I bought that stuff a couple years ago. I take advantage of the sales that Rock Auto has. Sometimes they'll have these closeouts and they'll email you all the parts for your vehicle that are on sale, so I'll just stock up on shit that I don't even need. and then it comes in handy on builds like this one. But this is going to be easy build. So yep, anyway, I'll talk to y'all later at the next step. And we're back once again. We've wrapped it up for the night, but I was successful. And I've got my intake gasket changed and my valve cover gaskets changed. Doesn't it look so much better? Yeah, it's still old and crusty and there's rust on it, but just having all that grease removed. I power washed the valve covers in the intake. So they're looking a lot better, and I'm looking forward to having my truck back. Like I said, I didn't do too much. I could have done the head gaskets and done all that, but that would have probably taken an extra day, and I'd rather not. I just want this thing in there. I just want it in there, and plus there's no need to change the head gaskets. They're totally fine. I'll save those Felpros for when I build that other block. I'm going to probably make a 383 out of it. So now that we've got the upper end done on this guy, I'm going to flip him over, take the oil pan off, and change out the oil pan and the rear main, and then the timing cover and all that good stuff, because it's just right there. It'd be stupid not to do it, even if it costs me $100 in parts. So that's that, man. We got this thing going. It's all cleaned up on the upper end. Has been changed. It looked good. And so next is to flip that engine on the bottom and drop that oil pan. So I was looking at this and I started to trip out. Alright, I'm having a barbecue on this 4th of July. Oh my God. Look at that fucking view. Dude. This is why I fucking live here. Okay. The camera here is going to do no justice to what my eyes can see, but check it out. Oh, wow. Now see, flat earthers, this is proof that the earth is not flat. You can see the curvature of the earth if you know what to look for. But damn, it's pretty epic, huh? So anyway, sorry, I got mesmerized by the view. Happens. So I'm like standing here looking at my fire, thinking, you know, it's pretty hot. Look at that. It melted that plastic container right there that was next to it. So it's hot enough to melt that, which, I mean, you know, a couple hundred degrees, maybe 200 degrees, 200, 300 degrees next to that. And right next to it is a big old patch on the other side, of course, on the other side of the grill is a patch of grass. Dry grass. Grass that's ready to catch on fire and burn down the hillside. But why hasn't it caught on fire? Because it's not quite hot enough to combust. But it got me thinking, just how hot is a spark? Well, that depends. You see, sparks aren't all created equally. And turns out the ones from this here applewood fire are about, 700 to 900 degrees, something in there. But however, like the ones in your spark plugs, those burn like more like the surface of the sun, like 4,000 to 5,000 degrees centigrade. So, yeah, sparks are hot. They're hot. Even the wooden embers burning from this fire are hot. They're hot. Because, you know, like, for example, I was thinking about gasoline. Like, you can heat gasoline up, you know, almost to, like, pretty much past its boiling point. But until it is, you know, given a spark, it doesn't ignite. like, I've read about this. Like, you can actually hook up your car you can set up a system so that your fuel lines in your car run over the block of your engine before they're introduced into it. So in effect, once you get warmed up, the fuel is no longer a liquid when it enters your engine. It's actually a gas, a vapor. Fuel injection and current carburetors, the fuel is injected as an atomized liquid, which is not the same thing as a vapor. A vapor is a gas. So gasoline, petrol, whatever you want to call it, can exist as a gas unignited. Only in the presence of oxygen and spark does it ignite. So that just got me asking this crazy tripped out question, is like, how hot is a spark? Like, because if you can heat it up that much, and I mean, we're talking, you know, probably 300, 400 degrees. I don't know how hot gasoline is. I'd have to look up that too. But to answer that question, you know, that varies too. Gasoline will boil anywhere from about 100 degrees on up to 400 degrees, depending on what it's mixed with. See, gasoline isn't all created equally either. They mix ethanol, they mix detergents and all kinds of other stuff in there, which can affect the boiling point of the gasoline, but it's usually maxed out at about 400 degrees. So if you take our spark into consideration, that's like 700 degrees. So you can see that's enough to ignite, especially if it's an electrostatic spark, being in the thousands of degrees to ignite gasoline. So you can see that you can easily boil gasoline. The ignition temperature of gasoline is what? It's about, reports say, between 530 and 553 degrees Fahrenheit, depending again on the mix itself, but it's pretty close to 550 degrees. So a spark definitely meets the ignition requirement, so that's how you get it. You know, these questions just tripped me out just now, so I decided to share my thoughts. Anyway, the fireworks will be out soon here. It's going to get dark here in about half an hour, and then they'll start up the fireworks another hour after that. Birds up there tripping out. I'm going to have some barbecued chicken tonight. Once this applewood fire settles down and turns into coals, I'll throw the grill over it and start cooking. So I gave the dogs a bigger yard yesterday. I expanded my fence, and they have this hillside to play on now. And you can see where my fence posts were before, and it was really confined. I didn't put the original fence up, so don't blame me. Anyway, now I'm really gonna go. But happy 4th of July. Cheers. This is kind of a rare oddity too. On the left, we got 4 dogs. There's one right there. Baby's hiding out in the bushes. You can barely see her. Of course, there's Ranger. And then over there chilling by the tire is Thin. And I use those tires, by the way, to stretch the fence on the bottom a little bit. Discourages them from trying to dig. And on the right, I've got 4 cats chilling on the steps. Look at Cotton Ball. You can obviously tell which one is Cotton Ball. That's Sugar. She's pure American Bobtail. This is Giorgio. He's pure American, Chinese Dragon Lee. This is Cheech, black and white one, and he's Siberian. And behind him is Cotton Ball, and he's Ragdoll, as you might be able to tell. Only ragdolls sleep like that. Anyway, seriously, yeah. Anyway, happy 4th of July. Peace.